of Leadership by John Maxwell. Reading session 6. We continue with the law of navigation. Navigator examine the conditions before making commitments. Drawing on experience means looking inward. Examining conditions means looking outward. No good leader plans a course of action without paying close attention to current conditions. That would be like setting sail against the tide of plotting a course into a hurricane. Good navigators count the cost before making commitments for themselves and others. They examine not only measurable factors such as finances, resources, and talent, but also intangibles such as timing, morale, momentum, culture, and so on. I'll discuss this more in the laws of intuition and timing. Let me just turn the light on. Yeah, might be better. Yeah, this will help. Yeah. Navigators listen to what others have to say. No matter how much you learn from the past, it will never tell you all that you need to know for the present. I love this sentence. I'll repeat it again. No matter how much you learn from the past, it will never tell you all that you need to know for the present. No matter how good a leader you are, you yourself will not have all the answers. That's why top-notch navigators gather information from many sources. For example, before Ronald Amundsen's expedition to the South Pole, he had learned from a group of Native Americans in Canada about warm clothing and Arctic survival techniques. Those skills and practices meant the difference between failure and the success for his team in Antarctica. Navigating leaders get ideas from many sources. They listen to members of their leadership team. They talk to the people in their organization to find out what's happening on the grassroots level. And they spend time with leaders from outside the organization who can mentor them. They always think in terms of relying on a team, not just themselves. Navigators make sure their conclusions represent both faith and fact. Being able to navigate for others requires a leader to possess a positive attitude. You've got to have faith that you can take your people all the way. If you can't confidently make the trip in your mind, you're not going to be able to take it in real life. On the other hand, you also have to be able to see the facts realistically. You can't minimize obstacles or rationalize your challenges and still lead effectively. If you don't go in with your eyes wide open, you're going to get blindsided. As Bill Easum, president of Easum, Bandy and Associates, observes, quote, realistic leaders are objective enough to minimize illusions. They understand that self-deception can cost them their vision, unquote. Jim Collins confirmed this balance between faith and fact in his 2001 book, Good to Great. He calls it the Stockdale paradox. He writes, quote, you must retain faith that you will prevail in the end, and you must also confront the most brutal facts of your current reality. Hello, Elisha. Keep going and grinding. Don't listen to the yes, Juju. God. Thank you for your comment and thank you for the like. Others, I invite you to follow the lead and send likes my way if you like me reading the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell for you. Okay. And yes, we are not even giving time to haters and stupid and dumb and empty people. If they have nothing serious or positive to say, they're not worth our time. So yeah, let's move ahead. And there is this sentence on the page separately, so I'll read it again. Balancing optimism and realism, intuition and planning, faith and fact can be very difficult, but that's what it takes to be effective as a navigating leader. This is interesting. Actually, reading this, I think of a civilization in the world of um, Dune. If you know, I think the author's name was Frank Herbert. He wrote this. He created this amazing universe. So if you know Dune, and it has some their first super on the live stream. Oh, someone gave me a super like. Oh, thank you, Juju G Tech God. Thank you so much. I love it. I got a super like from Juju. High five to you. Thank you. So yeah, if you guys know that work by Herbert, and there is also, there are several series available. I think in 70s they had a series, and recently Dune Prophecy, if I'm not mistaken, an HBO series. It's beautiful. I watched it recently. So in that world, they have a civilization of very powerful women, B'nai Gesserit, I think that's their name, and their training is very interesting. So Herbert took some, real life things like from Indian philosophy, from yoga, for instance, from Indian, world and philosophy. And he also created some, added some sci-fi levels to it. So it's very beautiful. And when I read this, balancing optimism and realism, intuition and planning, faith and fact, it made me, think and reflect on that civilization of those powerful ladies who control, who influence, not really control, who influence the universe. Yeah, Juju G Tech God, I got your dollar. Thank you so much. Keep grinding. I like it. Keep telling me about it. Yeah, Juju. So if you don't know anything about this sci-fi universe, I suggest you discover it. I enjoy audiobooks more, so I listened to the audiobooks. Some of them are available free. For others, you might have to pay, but you could always, find a PDF version or buy a PDF version for cheaper, and then, ask your device read it for you. So yeah, it's very beautiful, and yeah, I love sci-fi. So if you like sci-fi too, you'll enjoy that, Juju. Is it okay when I call you Juju, or what would you prefer? Let me know. Okay, and yes, I think it's Juju's like. Thank you again, Juju, for that. Others, if you enjoy me reading this for you, I encourage you. Yes, Juju says he's fine with Juju. Okay, cool. Yeah, send likes my way. I remember the first time I really understood the importance of the law of navigation. I was 28 years old, and I was leading the second church in my pastoral career. Before my arrival there in 1972, the church had experienced a decade-long plateau in its growth. But by 1975, our attendance had gone from 400 to more than 1,000. I knew we could keep growing and helping more people, but only if we built a new auditorium. The good news was that I already had some experience leading a construction project because I had taken my first church through the process. The bad news was that the first one was really small in comparison to the second one. This was going to be a multi-million-dollar project, more than 20 times larger than my first one. But even that was not the greatest obstacle. Right before I came on board as leader of the church, there had been a huge battle over another building proposal, and the debate had been vocal, divisive, and bitter. Vocal, divisive, and bitter. Those words make me think of Trump. I support very few things he does. I think, merit-based things are good, etc. But again, vocal, divisive, and bitter. Yeah. And just for you guys, I don't identify myself neither as a Democrat nor as a Republican. I am an objectivist. It's a rational, secular, individualistic, and free market capitalist philosophy created by Ayn Rand. If you know Atlas Shrugged or The Fountainhead, you should know a thing or two about objectivism. For that reason, I knew that I would experience genuine opposition to my leadership for the first time. There were rough waters ahead, and if I, as the leader, didn't navigate as well, I could sink the ship. Yeah. Charting the course with the navigation strategy. I should probably confess at this point that I am not a strong navigator. I don't take joy in getting into details, and I tend to go with my gut instinct, sometimes a little too quickly for my own good. In the last 15 to 20 years, I've often stuffed my weaknesses and hired good navigating leaders to help my organizations. For example, for many years, when I was a church leader, Dan Rayland was on my staff as executive pastor. He is an excellent navigator. Currently at EQUIP, the nonprofit organization I founded in 1996, John Hall works as its president, and he is a fantastic navigating leader. I got to go. I'll see you later. Thank you, Juju. Again, thank you for that donation, that $1 and that like. So a big high five to you. Have a good one. See you later. Bye. And there is this other sentence on the page. If the leader can't navigate the people through rough waters, he is liable to sink the ship. Yeah. However, back in 1975, I had to take responsibility for the navigation process myself. To help me do that, I developed a strategy that I have used repeatedly in my leadership. I wrote it as an acrostic so that I would always be able to remember it. Predetermine a course of action. Lay out your goals. Adjust your priorities. Notify key personnel. So these 4 lines together, they say plan, P-L-A-N, vertically. And then the following lines say ahead, plan ahead. Allow time to acceptance. Allow time for acceptance. Head into action. Expect problems. Always point to the success. Daily review your plan. Okay. That became my blueprint as I prepared to navigate this change for my organization. I had a strong sense of what our course of action needed to be. If we were going to keep growing, we needed to build a new auditorium. I had looked at every possible alternative, and I knew that was the only viable solution. My goal was to design and build the facility, pay for it in 10 years, and unify all the people in the process. No small feat. Any plan I introduced would have to be voted on in a congregational meeting, so I scheduled one a couple of months ahead to give me time to get everything ready. The next thing I did was direct our board members and a group of key financial leaders to conduct a 20-year analysis of our growth and financial patterns. It covered the previous 10 years and projections for the next 10 years. Based on that, we determined the requirements of the facility. We then formulated a 10-year budget that carefully explained how we would handle financing. I also asked that all of the information we were gathering be put into a 20-page report to be given to the members of the congregation. I knew that major barriers to successful planning are fear of change, ignorance, uncertainty about the future, and lack of imagination. I was going to do everything I could to prevent those factors from hindering us. My next step was to notify the key leaders. I started with the ones who had the most influence, meeting with them individually and sometimes in small groups. Over the course of several weeks, I met with about 100 leaders. I cast the vision for what we needed to do and fielded their questions. And any time I could sense that a person was hesitant about the project, I planned to meet individually with him again. Then I allowed time for those key leaders to influence the rest of the people and help them accept the coming changes. This is interesting. He's speaking of navigation, and again, I think of that world, the universe of Dune. Dune is, I think it's no, it's not the name of the planet. There is a central focal planet called Arrakis. So in Arrakis, they have dunes, and in that universe, it's not just one book; it's a series of books. And actually, after the death of Herbert, his son also wrote a few sci-fi books. So it's a huge universe, very beautiful. And similar things were done in that book by different civilizations when they were trying, and houses of nobles when they wanted more power, when they tried to influence the decisions of the emperor, yeah. And in the series that came out last year, December 2024, so it's pretty fresh actually. Dune, I think it was Dune Prophecy, but I might be wrong. So if you just write Dune series HBO, you'll see that. We see some of this, some of those, private talks and influence and navigation. It's very interesting, very beautiful. When the time arrived for the congregational meeting, we were ready to head into action. I took 2 hours to present the project to the people. I handed out my 20-page report with the floor plans, financial analysis, and budgets. I tried to answer every question the people would have before they even had a chance to ask it. I also asked some of the most influential people in the congregation to speak. I had expected a position, but when I opened the floor for questions, I was shocked. There were only 2 questions. One person wanted to know about the placement of the building's water fountains, and the other asked about the number of restrooms. That was when I knew we had navigated the tricky waters successfully. When it was time for the motion asking everyone to vote, the church's most influential layperson made it. And I had already asked a leader who had previously opposed the building project to be the one to second the motion. When the final count was tallied, 98% of the people had voted in favor. And there is this other quote on the page. Major barriers to successful planning are fear of change, ignorance, uncertainty about the future, and lack of imagination. And I like this quote. I think even right now, what we have in politics with Trump, with conservative people, I'll be very, very honest. Okay, so I am not in favor breaking the law. So generally, illegal immigration, I don't like the idea. I understand that the majority, of those people are not criminals, and there are decent people who have, or who maybe who have no other way, or who are not aware of uh, legal ways. Still, I don't like it. On the other hand, so when they target criminal immigrants, people who are here to rob, to kill, etc., I support that. I support the deportation of illegal criminal immigrants. Okay, but also I don't like what is done to transgender people, for example. Yeah, as an objectivist, I love the idea that merit is the most important thing. I'm a non-binary person. I'm gay, but I wouldn't like to be pushed or raised or get some offer only based on my sexuality, or gender identity or sexual orientation. So merit-based attitude is good. But when I read these quotes, again, major barriers to successful planning are fear of change, ignorance, uncertainty about the future, and lack of imagination. I think of, why President Trump and many conservative people, mostly Republicans, mostly religious people, target transgender people, um, we could say minorities. Again, it's because of this. Yes, it's because of the fear of change, because of ignorance on some levels. What is sexuality? Yeah, and uncertainty about the future. Like change creates some fear in some people, so they put and dictators love they love talking about stability. Putin loves this word, stability. Yeah, and it means stagnation. It means not much development. So yeah, mm, it's sad to see that conservatism is controlling too much. With Democrats, again, I wasn't happy with many things they did, like taxing people heavily. I don't like that at all. And they were taxing, they were talking about the working class. Yeah, Kamala Harris liked that expression a lot. Yeah, I'm from a working class family, and they talk of classes. When they talk of classes, groups of people, it means they are there to oppress the individual and to tax the individual and to say that you individual, you businessman, you have to give more for these groups of people. So I hate collectivism of any kind. I dislike left-wing collectivism such as Marxism, socialism, capitalism, and I hate right-wing capitalism such as nationalism, fascism, and so on. As an objectivist, I am for the individual, for a secular society, for free market capitalism, not oligarchy, and not monopolies, but free market capitalism that can defend itself through courts, through police, and through army. Those three things are very important, yeah, because or else, yes, monopolies can arise, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm reading the book, and also in my mind, I'm thinking of those things. So let's just continue with the chapter. Once we navigated through this tricky part of the process, he speaks of voting, yes, for the new construction. The rest of the project was pretty straightforward. I continually kept the vision in front of the people by giving them good news reports. I made sure we celebrated successes, and I periodically reviewed our plans and their results to make sure we were on track. The course had been charted. All we had to do was steer the ship. That was a wonderful learning experience for me. Above everything else, I found out that the secret to the law of navigation is preparation. When you prepare well, you convey confidence and trust to people. Lack of preparation has the opposite effect. In the end, it's not the size of the project that determines its acceptance, support, and success. It's the size of the leader. That's why I say that anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to chart the course. Leaders who are good navigators are capable of taking their people just about anywhere. This is the end of this section of the chapter, and there is a separate quote on the page. In the end, it's not the size of the project that determines its acceptance, support, and success. It's the size of the leader. Hmm. And I think when uh, the author, John, speaks of the size of the leader, I think one important thing is acceptance and accepting diversity, like this ability to listen to people. Yeah, it's a very important skill, being able to listen to people and to say, even to say like, okay, I heard you, but I disagree. You can say that in a civilized way. Again, it makes me think of Trump and that church lady who gave her sermon, and she was very, we could use the religious term meek, maybe, like very polite. Although she kind of, I think she spoke of emotions, and in particular, she spoke of fear. But there is truth in her words, yeah, that a lot of gay, lesbian, LGBT people are afraid. So, yeah, that is also true. But Trump wasn't able to, and that lady, spoke in a very modest tone. Yeah, there was no aggression, and she used terms such as "I ask you." Yeah, I think she used the term "please" in her speech. But Trump was very angry, not just annoyed, but angry. And later he tweeted, yeah, he said that she kind of abused her power. She needs to apologize to him. And, lots of Republican news media and Republicans, they attacked her viciously. Um, when speaking of leadership and returning back to this quote, so the size of the leader, if you want to be a big leader, you need to be able to include, different points of view, even if you disagree. Yeah. Trump could have responded in a very calm tone, saying, "I disagree with you," or "I heard your plea. I will consider that." But there was so much anger in his on his face and in his tweet later. Yeah. So that's very divisive. That's disgraceful, and it shows the polarization of the society. Yeah. So if you want to be a good leader, you should cultivate this skill in you. The skill, it's called active listening. It's a soft skill. Yeah. You listen actively, you paraphrase what the other person says, and you don't have to jump and say, "No, I strongly disagree," or blah, blah. Of course, we all have those heated debates. Me too. For instance, I'm strongly pro Israel. And when I say I'm pro Israel, I mean the following: Israel has the right to exist, Israel has the right to defend its borders, Israel has the right to attack and kill all the terrorists, regardless their age. Sometimes the terrorist can be a 15-year-old jihadi Muslim teenager. Yeah. But I don't support the expansion, the nationalistic expansion of countries. In the 21st century, we should have those static borders, or else, it becomes very chaotic. Only if there is mutual consent and no one is objecting, but in reality, always one side objects. Like with Greenland, the Dutch, yes, I think it's part of Denmark, if I'm not mistaken. They are, or Norway, I'm not sure. They are against it. Yeah. So yeah. So if when I'm pro-Israeli, I of course have some heated debates with pro-Palestinians, but still I don't say you deserve to be burned, or I don't support hate speech. I had a pro-Israeli Muslim. I knew a pro-Israeli Muslim person with whom I had good relationships. One day I changed my Facebook flag and I put the flag of Israel on my Facebook profile. And that guy told me, "Remove this F flag from your profile." I said, "No, I won't." But I didn't tell him goodbye. I didn't tell him, like, "You're scum, you're bad, you're a bad person," etc., etc. So, this ability to overcome our differences and, you know, remain human is very important. I was discriminated against by pro-Palestinians on the other hand, so they are like Trump, and maybe they deserve an adversary like Trump, because of that, because some of them are super radical, super aggressive. I have a drag queen persona and I perform sometimes as a drag queen. And once I found this little a group of drag queens in my country, home country, the Republic of Armenia, and I sent them a message like, "Hey guys, I discovered your little group or collective. I'd like to perform with you. Would you have me?" And I sent them my Instagram account of Sofia Chantion, yeah, my drag persona, and I had a little sketch in which I made a sketch on some pro-Palestinian activists, like sarcasm, jokes, like those pro-Palestinian activists who lie and stuff like that. So it was just a joke around, making fun of how fascism could be defended. How Hamas and fascist ideas such as Israel should be destroyed totally, etc., which means also Jewish genocide, can be supported. And their response was, "Here we support Palestine, so no, you cannot perform with us." So that's discrimination. Yeah, that is like the definition of the term discrimination. So they discriminated against me. So yeah, but still, me, I wouldn't. And I had pro-Palestinian colleagues as well. I never teased them. I never tried to intimidate them. And even in the future, if I have an employee who will be pro-Palestinian, if being pro-Palestinian for him or her or them doesn't mean supporting the destruction of the Jewish state, like the French can have France, the English can have England, and of course the Jews can have Israel. Yeah. So, and if they do not support Jewish genocide and stuff, I won't say, "Oh, you're fired because you're pro-Palestinian." That would be discrimination. And I wouldn't be an inclusive, a big leader, yes, if I would only choose people based on their sexuality or political points of view, etc., etc. So yeah, that's why I like the fact that Trump favors meritocracy, like people need to be hired based on their merits, skills, knowledge, ability, not who they are, the color of their skin, their sexuality, etc., etc. I oppose the idea of quotas, yeah, or quotes for women, for LGBT people, for minorities, etc., etc. Like I'm for equal opportunities. Like everybody has uh, to have the chance to study wherever they want, work as whatever they want. And you can enter an organization. You can build your own organization. Yeah, you can be a private entrepreneur. You can establish your own nonprofit, etc., etc. That's what I'm planning to do here in the US. Yeah, once I get my work permission, and once my asylum case is heard, and once, hopefully, I am given the right to remain in the United States as an LGBT asylum seeker, asylum applicant. Okay, so the next chapter. Oh, there is one more small part on applying the law of navigation to your life. So let's discover this one as well. How to apply this law of navigation. Yeah, there are 3 points. Point number 1. Do you make it a regular practice to reflect on your positive and negative experiences? Negative experiences. Yeah, I reflect on them regularly, I can say. How about you guys? Write down in the comments. Do you reflect on your positive and negative experiences? Our mind, likes the drama and fear a lot. So an untrained mind, the Buddhists say that an untrained mind is like a monkey, a hyperactive monkey that is also drunk. So the monkey jumps from branch to branch, from an idea to another idea, from idea to idea, and the mind cannot settle. And the more emotion, the better for those thoughts. And fear is a powerful emotion. So if you don't train your mind, takes on those fear-based ideas and thoughts. What if? Yeah, what if tomorrow, or you remember something, some argument, and you're like, oh, I should have told that other person this. Yeah. So you should be aware of that and reflect not only on your negative experiences, but also on your positive experiences. Okay. If not, you will miss the potential lessons they have to offer. Do one of the two things. Set aside the time to reflect every week, examining your calendar or journal to jog your memory. Well, I don't have a journal, well, a calendar, I could do that, yeah. Or build reflection time into your schedule immediately after every major success or failure. In either case, write down what you learned during that discovery process. Well, this is kind of easy for me because now I'm working on my autobiography. Yeah, I'm 35 years old soon. On January 27, I'll turn 36, and I have those mental capacities, the technical knowledge, the will, the desire. So I'm writing that book, and that's a journey of reflection as well. So for me, it's easy. I'm in that. And if you want to benefit from this book, if you want to become a better leader, and even just for yourself, you should be your number one doctor, your number one teacher, your number one motivator and leader. So you should do those things for yourself. Yeah, you can maybe start a blog or a vlog, video blog. Yes, start a YouTube channel and share your stuff. You'll find some, a group of people who might be interested in your content, and it will be a useful exercise for you. When I'm reading this book, I'm also doing it for myself. Like, I'm reading it for me, yeah? And I'm growing my YouTube channel with that. I'm also doing it for you. So it's a win-win, you see? Okay, point number 2. Navigating leaders do their homework. For some project or major task that you are currently responsible for, draw on your past experience. Hold intentional conversations with experts and team members to gather information and examine current conditions that could impact the success of your endeavor. Only after taking these steps should you create your action plan. Okay. Draw on your past experience. Hold intentional conversations with experts and team members to gather information and examine current conditions that could impact the success of your endeavor. Okay, those steps are important. Yeah. Point number 3. Which way do you naturally lean, toward facts or faith? Okay, well, I'm an objectivist, and objectivism is a rational philosophy. So I lean on facts, but the definition of faith here is important. I like the idea of axioms more, not blind faith, but axioms. That's why I don't like the term faith. And the axioms are always testable. You can test an axiom. So in my mind, I would say I have convictions, I have thesis, yeah, and my mind runs with axioms. That's what I'd say. So I'm fact-based, but if something hasn't been done already, it doesn't mean I will not attempt it. Yeah. For instance, again, I'm 35 years old. I've never in my life thought I would apply for an asylum, and there were no, how to put it? It was not fact-based, but I mean, the decision was not just fact-based. Yeah. So yeah, still innovation is important. And when I say I don't like fate, it doesn't mean I'm always, taking things as they are, like going with the status quo. No, innovation, imagination, those things are important. And you can be a science-oriented, rational person and still be innovative, etc., etc. The first prime minister of Israel, by the way, was an atheist. And before him, there were no prime ministers. There was no Israel. Yeah, those people formed that country. David Ben Gurion, that's his name. So actually, Israel was built by secular, rational European people. The fourth prime minister of Israel was a woman, Golda Meir. So yeah, science-based. On the contrary, it is bringing more innovation than religion and faith. With religion and faith, you have to blindly believe, you have to follow the word of God. Innovation and disobedience are punishable, etc. Okay. Rarely is a leader especially talented in both areas. And in parentheses, he says, I'm a faith person. I am highly visionary and believe that anything is possible. I often rely on my brother, Larry, to help me with realistic thinking. And then the bracket is closed. Yet, good navigators must be able to do both. To successfully practice the law of navigation, you must know your own bent. If you're not sure, ask trusted friends and colleagues. Then make sure you have someone with the opposite bent on your team so that you can work together. Okay, and yeah, I would be open to the idea of cooperation with a person of faith, as long as that wouldn't meddle, that faith wouldn't meddle with business. So that would be, yeah, acceptable for me. And for instance, I want to create something that I call New Intellectuals Community for Learning and Prosperity, at the title of this channel. But still, I don't want to say I believe it will be done. I don't want to be guided only by belief. I just have technical skills. I have worked in different areas as a tutor, as a coach, as a trainer, as a grant writer for a nonprofit. So I have these skills. That's why I'm almost certain that I will succeed sooner or later. So it's not blind faith. I can't say I blindly believe in it and that's it. It's more facts-based. It's more based on my past track record and on my certainty, or it's not even 100%, because there are things that are called force majeure, for instance, yeah, like an earthquake, fires, etc., etc. So I might, die someday sooner than I imagined. So anything can happen in life. So I cannot say it's 100%. Yeah, but it's like 95 or 90%. Okay, the next chapter is entitled The Law of Addition. And the law of addition is as follows. Leaders add value by serving others. Ooh, I think I will enjoy this chapter. I think I'll start this chapter and then we'll continue it later. Okay. In a world where many political leaders enjoy their power and prestige, and where CEOs of large corporations make astronomical incomes, work and live in luxury, and appear to be most concerned with what's in it for them, Jim Sinegal is an oddity. Sinegal is the co-founder and CEO of Costco, the fourth largest retailer in the United States and the ninth largest in the world. He doesn't seem much interested in perks. He works in an unremarkable office comprised primarily of folding tables and chairs. If he invites someone to meet him at the corporate offices, he goes down to the lobby to meet his guest. He answers his own phone, and he takes a salary of only $300,000 a year, which puts him in the bottom 10% of CEOs of large corporations. Senegal's path to corporate leadership wasn't typical either. He didn't attend an Ivy League school. He isn't a lawyer or a CPA. As a teenager, he thought of becoming a doctor, but his high school grades were less than stellar. So he went off to community college and earned an associate's degree. While he was attending San Diego State College, now university, he helped a friend unload mattresses at a new local retail store called FedMart. That one day of work turned into a regular job. When he received a promotion, he discontinued his studies. He he had found his career. In time, he had also found a mentor, Saul Price, FedMart's chairman. Under Price's guidance, Senegal rose to the post of executive vice president for merchandising. Senegal later helped Price found Price Club and then went on to co-found Costco in 1983 with Jeffrey H. Brotman. The company's growth was rapid. Costco purchased and merged with Price Club 10 years later. Okay, the next subheading is adding profits by adding value. And I think we'll continue with this one next time. So this was the Law of Addition. If you enjoy this live, remember to subscribe to my channel so that later you get notified about my future live sessions. Okay, this is the second book I'm reading for you, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. The previous book which I read was The Art of Not Giving a F, the F word, another bestseller. And that book is available in my playlist, so you can access the book and read or listen to me, reading the whole book for you guys. So thank you again, and thank you, Juju, for that super like. It was cool. Thank you for the support. And doesn't matter when you watch or rewatch this video, remember that you can pay back with your likes, super likes, subscription, comments, and shares. Okay. And if you'd like to become part of the new intellectuals community, well, it starts with this subscription, but you can reach out to me. The website is there. My contact details are available. I need volunteers who will help me in this journey. So, yeah, see you on the other side. Have a good one. Bye.